I'm going to apologize up front. This is going to take a little bit of time. So, good afternoon, family and friends. I wanted to speak openly and walk around and be all general Welsh, out here, but I found I might be a little bit too emotional up here, so I'm going to hide right behind this podium and read right off this piece of paper. So, I'd like to welcome you all once again. Thank you all for coming out today. I have dreaded this day for a very, very long time. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm pretty nervous standing up here. I think it probably shows. And at first I protested having a retirement ceremony, but it wouldn't be fair to my family if I didn't. My family, you all right here in front of me. Truth be told, this event isn't really about me, it's about this family. All of you. Some staff sergeant told me that I was being selfish for not wanting to have a ceremony. And I appreciate that feedback very much, and I stand here in front of you nervous as hell and wanting nothing more than to run back to my office and pretend that this was all a very, very bad dream. But here goes. Around 23 years ago, 8 months, I called my recruiter and told him that I changed my mind and I didn't want to come in the military. I was scared and it was obvious, and he understood my concerns but told me that it was too late and that the contract was signed. I hung up the phone, continued to question my intentions, my decisions, and 2 months later my parents dropped me off in Boston to start my career in the Air Force. The 90-minute car ride was absolutely excruciating for us. We barely said a word. And the only thing that kind of broke the silence was my parents giving me words of encouragement and telling me that they were very proud of me. We eventually arrived at a... That was early. That was supposed to happen. We arrived at a Holiday Inn where I would stay the night until the bus would pick me up in the morning to take me to MEPS. We ate dinner. We ate in silence, and soon thereafter we said our goodbyes. And up to that point, not a tear was shed. So it's kind of funny that this is the point where this. I was determined to be strong, but my mother gave me one last parting kiss and hug goodbye, and she absolutely lost it. And I did too. And for the rest of the night, I was a complete, absolute wreck. And I thought to myself, how was I going to go on without having my family there with me, my parents, to guide me along the way? I thought I was going to be lost without them. Now, I thought long and hard about what I was going to say today. My original goal was to impart some amazing wisdom that would baffle you all. I often lay down in bed thinking about some amazing things to say today. My best speeches were right about when I fell asleep. There's so many awesome versions, and after many failed attempts to find the right words, I came to realization that the words weren't going to flow easy today. Not because I had nothing to say, because it was going to be so hard to say it. Who would have thought that I'd be here? It didn't come easy for me. But I stand here with a really good career behind me, and as I lay in bed weaving amazing tales and feats of inspiring words, I realized that it would be selfish to focus on me. So I'll look away. Look away, don't stare at me anymore. It would be unfair for me to talk about my career and just say that was my own doing. Each night I almost fell back almost always to a long list of people that were there for me to help me get to where I am today. It was at this point that I realized what I wanted to say and what I needed to say today. You see, I feel success is realized mostly, if not only, through external influences, and more importantly, how we use those influences to guide us in the right direction. These influences come in many forms. Now, I know that there are things that we all must do internally to achieve success. And I know that each of us have different ideas or opinions of what success actually is. But I wouldn't be here standing behind this podium feeling proud of what my definition of success is if it wasn't for the countless people that were out there helping me along the way. That said, I have many people to thank, and unfortunately, most of them have no idea how much they've impacted me in my career. And it's unfortunate that those people couldn't be here today, but they deserve my thanks regardless. Now, this is where it's going to get really long, so I want you to stick to it. I'm going to thank a lot of people that you guys have absolutely no idea who they are, but they mean a lot to me, and my message will be very clear. Colonel mentioned Mitch, Staff Sergeant Mitchell. My first thanks goes out to him and my Master Sergeant Tripp. They taught me to be self-aware. See, I came to this Air Force, as he said, as a cocky and ego-driven airman. Most people from Massachusetts tend to do that. Mitch and I crewed 15s at Bitburg, and he worked right across the hatch from me and welcomed me every day when I came to him asking stupid questions and asking for a tool that I should have gotten from support before I went out to my jet. Scotty, bag of donuts, what can I do for you? He always said with a smile. And at first I thought, oh, that's really cool, that's such an awesome nickname. I had no idea what it meant. But it wasn't until later that I realized that this greeting was not a term of endearment or that regular flight line banter. He was giving me a message. And then that realization came when I saw an old picture of myself a few years ago standing in front of my jet with a wrinkled up uniform, hydraulic fluid all over it, hair curly like Justin Timberlake all on top of it, my head cocked back like this, like I owned the world. And at that point, that's where I got the message. Master Sergeant Tripp was my flight chief at the time. He was this bald, scary guy, and I wanted to avoid him at all costs. He gave me quite a few letters of counseling along the way. And on his, he wrote a quote, "Good luck, you're gonna need it." He put that right on my going away plaque. And that plaque hangs proudly in my office to this day as a reminder of where I came from. It's a humble reminder for me to be aware of how I project myself to others, and that there's no such thing as good luck, only hard work, and making myself and those around me better. Thank you, Master Sergeant Calvin Murphy. And I hated this guy so much. But he taught me that the Air Force is bigger than me, and he also taught me to see further than the tip of my nose and to never sell myself short. I entered the command post career field at Nellis after I left the flight line in 1996. Although I learned a thing or two on the flight line, I remained far from perfect. And Calvin Murphy reminded me of that regularly. I worked hard at learning my new job, and he saw that, and despite my ego and outspoken ways, he put me in a position that gave me a lot of responsibilities and made a bigger impact on people. But I still made many, many mistakes, and most of those mistakes, unfortunately, were driven by my own self-convictions. What I thought was best for me, not what I thought was best for the unit, the airmen, and ultimately the Air Force. Of course, Calvin Murphy reminded me of that regularly. And on one mistake, he chewed me out the old school way, inside, outside, up, down, all across the room. He made me stay after my night shifts, and that's where it all happened. And then he told me every day for the rest of the week that I needed to show, wait for him to show up to come in. And he proceeded to give me an ass chewing every single day. On the very last day, I went home absolutely broken. Sat at my dinner table and bawled my eyes out because he had basically broke my ego. And I absolutely hated him for doing that. It didn't stop there. On my 4th attempt to make staff sergeant, he pulled me aside and wanted to see my scores, wanted to know where I stood. And I told him I'd shred my score sheet and I didn't want to talk about it. And then he just rolled right into me again, up and down, inside out. And it was an ass chewing that stayed with me for the rest of my career. But what he did at the very end is he sat me down and told me that he was just disappointed in me because he saw a lot of potential. And he sat down and mapped out my career plan for me, and he basically taught me what I am here today. Beyond teaching me to take my career seriously, he taught me about patience and how to invest time and how much time to invest in helping others succeed. I am forever grateful for that guy, Master Sergeant Calvin Murphy. As much as I hated him then, I love him absolutely that today for spending that much time chewing me out. I called him a few years ago and told him so, and he's a great friend to this day, and he continues to guide me in the right direction. Thank you, Major Platt, now retired Colonel Platt. He taught me to roll up my sleeves, and that hard work and perseverance pays off. He taught me that family comes first and the mission comes second. After I embraced the messages of Calvin Murphy's ass chewings, I dedicated a ton of energy pushing forward in a steady, more positive direction on PCS to Spangdahlem. As a result, unfortunately, Major Platt piled an incredibly amount of responsibilities on me. I was his one egg in the basket, and although I gained valuable experiences, unfortunately, the importance I placed on my duties overshadowed the importance I placed on my family. I can remember many 15-hour days working, devising plans to improve the command post. I was a staff sergeant, I was a young husband, a young father. And I realized I was putting my family in jeopardy. My wife reminded me of that. It took me a deployment, some self-reflection to reprioritize. Once I got myself refocused, I came back with a whole new vector, a whole new vision for my family, and everything kind of fell into place. My work improved, the people around me gathered, and I appreciated the change of pace in the command post. My family grew stronger. Colonel Platt and his wife, Arlene, are dear friends to this day. The nicest guy in the world, only wanted the best for me and my organization. He talked regularly, and I'm forever grateful for the trust that he placed in me, and him understanding that work will still be there the next day. But your family may not. And most importantly, success cannot be achieved alone. Here's where it's going to pick up the pace. Right? I'm not going to cry about this stuff anymore. Thank you, Master Sergeant Darren Thomas. Sergeant Thomas taught me to trust your people. He taught me that in the absence of leadership, people will step up when the chips are down. When I got to Guam, Sergeant Thomas gave me a tremendous amount of rope, enough rope to hang myself, but that never happened to me. Although I was a tech sergeant, he empowered me to make decisions independently. He sat back in his office behind the scenes, providing me guidance or not, and basically empowered me to make those decisions independently. And through his directions, I learned to lead more effectively, to inspire others and gain the trust of my fellow controllers and leadership up and down the chain of command. I lost contact with Master Sergeant Thomas, but I'd love to talk to him and tell him how I appreciate what he's done for me, as much as it was hard for me to deal with at times. And I wish he was here today. The people I mentioned above are just a small list, a small sampling of those who built my foundation when we arrived at Kadena 3 years ago. But who I am today is because of all of you, everybody that's sitting in this room. Look around this room right now, you got a whole mixture of people. You got folks from the Army, you got the soldiers, seamen, you got Marines in the room, Air Force. You got civilians back there. You got Rob with a beard and Ed with a big old beard. Amazing people in this room that I consider my family. And I am who I am today because of you all, my family. Over the last 24 years, I've done my very best with what I could with the cards that have been dealt to me. I've willingly devoted every thread of my emotion and thoughts to give you what I had been given over 24 years ago by the likes of Mitch, Tripp, Master Sergeant Murphy, Taylor, and every member of the SMSgt that made me very, very humble along the way. The list is very, very long, but this ceremony is probably someone knocking on the door soon. Colonel Amrine, Colonel Clayton, I must apologize. I know my briefing has been rambling in protocol. I've kind of broken that because you're supposed to start a speech by saying, hey, thank you, Colonel Amrine, for coming. Thank you, Colonel Clayton. Thank you, friends and family, commanders, squadron commanders. But that faux pas was actually purpose-driven. It is truly, truly an honor for me to be here. Colonel Clayton, I appreciate the words. It was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better person to see me and my family off today. You're an amazing leader, and you're definitely part of my family today. And be there forever for us. See, all of you every one of you are part of my family. This Air Force is a family, and we need to make sure that we put that first. When my parents drove me to Boston after dropping me off 23 years ago, I later learned that my father cried most of the way home. My mother asked who was going to take care of Scott. And he said Diane and Scott will have more parents looking after him and telling him what to do than he could ever ask for. He would be well taken care of. And he was right. He always was right. I wish my parents could be here today to see how this family, you all, raised me to be who I am today. And I know that they would approve. Colonel Amrine, I would like you to know that this command post will survive without me. This Air Force will survive without me. I've seen a lot of command post teams, I've seen a lot of airmen in my time, and I can tell you honestly that this team that worked for me, that I worked for, are truly among the best. I stand here before you with confidence that this wing's mission will move on with them at the helm. People like Sergeant Pewitt, she's over there, all being real comfortable, not tearing up. Don't let her quiet voice fool you. She's an aggressive, hardworking NCO with an amazing sense of humor. Sometimes she would make me mad with that sense of humor at many times. But most importantly, she's an absolute sweetheart with a heart of gold, who is very hard on herself because she always strives to be the best at what she does. Sergeant Pewitt, thank you so much for being who you are and everything that you've done to support this family. Your positive attitude, drive, and determination to produce excellence will take you very far, no matter what path you choose. Sergeant Barboza, where are you at? Sergeant Barboza, sir, she recently took over the command post training program real suddenly, and her attention to detail and love in her new duties are second to none. She will ensure that every one of these controllers continues on with success to make sure this mission moves forward. Sergeant Barboza, thank you very much. I know you've stepped up very suddenly, and I know you'll do great things in your new position. You know your job's important, and I couldn't think of a better person to take it over. Your energy, enthusiasm, and attention to detail is what this position needs. Sergeant Pylant, where are you at? Sergeant Pylant was our MC today. Recently, she stepped up and took over as command post operations. She admits she's scared as hell, and that's understandable. She has a lot on her plate, but she knows her job very well, understands the importance of it, and already she's thinking of ways to improve the things that I've marked about. But most importantly, she has an uncanny ability to balance the needs of the people and the mission. She will be a tough and fair leader who puts the controllers first and herself second, rest assured. Sergeant Pylant, thank you very much. I have a tremendous amount of responsibilities on you. I wouldn't have done so if I didn't think you could do it. Your passion and drive are in the right place, and you have uncanny talent to balance both of those things, the mission and the people. Because if you understand fully that without the people, the mission will fail. And Command Post is very lucky to have you, and I feel confident that leadership feels confident as well in making the Command Post better than I could have ever do it. So thank you very much. Despite my 24 years, I recently learned that a staff sergeant can teach you a thing or two about being a better senior NCO. One staff sergeant in particular has taught me a thing or two that will stay with me forever. Sergeant Torrance. You need to show everybody. Nah, she's over there. All right. Sergeant Torrance. Sergeant Torrance, thank you. You're such an amazing NCO. You have taught me that one of the most valuable lessons of them all. That actions do in fact speak louder than words, and I will never forget that. When I hit the ground, I had one-on-one discussions with everyone in the control. Sergeant Escobar's in the back, he remembers the discussion. I sat everybody down and told them what my vision was for the command post. And each one reluctantly gave me some feedback of what the current state of the command post is. No one really gave me anything clear. There was just some ideas that something was wrong. But Sergeant Torrance, when I gave her that same feedback, she looked at me with how she looks at me whenever she doesn't believe what I say, and told me that actions speak louder than words. Very bold, very courageous, and I really appreciated that feedback because it gave me my instructions for the remainder of my time here at Cadena. Sergeant Torrance, I'll never ever forget our talks, the times on the couch. You've made me strong on days, you've kept me focused, and you've encouraged me to push on. You also kept me very busy. And I really appreciate that because you've made me an amazing senior NCO. I truly feel that I am. And more importantly, an amazing person. You've made me this way. I really appreciate it. Now I could go on about how amazing each one of the controllers. The list is very long. Major Merritt has been the best OIC that I've seen in a very long time. His passion to take care of people is amazing. Each one of the controllers have done absolutely amazing things, and the whole team has done this all from the very beginning. They have ridden out several storms, implemented search and rescue missions, coordinated response to 2 aircraft mishaps, implemented recovery actions, and even lived through renovation and merged with the 733rd. And they did this as a team and came out stronger than ever. Sir, your command post is well equipped with bright, caring, highly knowledgeable professionals, and I have been blessed to be a part of the team. Thanks. Now, I approach this assignment knowing that people are the most important assets in the Air Force inventory. For my command post team, I know that I have been very hard on you, but know that I think of you every single day. each one of you personally. My tough love approach was meant to bring out the best in you, to make us better. That said, you've exceeded every one of my expectations. You've risen to the challenges that I presented to you, and this incredibly busy wing has presented to you. And we removed the obstacles, improved processes, and we did that as a team. Now, I have been diverting for quite some time. And I realized that after I got to the, so I think I'm on the 6th page or something like that. I promised myself that I wasn't getting emotional. I was going to save it for this point because there's some really good points here. And I'm sure many of you have some bets placed that I was going to start rolling my eyes at a certain point. And I hope that you bet against the odds because I'm going to be strong through this part and you're going to lose a lot of money. Jeremy, you're the main reason why this assignment's been very hard. The hardest thing I've ever had to do was drop you off on our way out here. Truly heartbreaking for us. We started out so early, we grew up together, and I missed every single day. I'm really sorry. Just the same, I'm happy that we're all going to go home together. I'm going to skip over some shit. Sorry. That's Erminek coming out right there. Sorry about that. Jonah, look at him. Nothing out of this kid, right? Absolutely nothing. I know this assignment has been really tough for you. You lost your best friend when we left. Jeremy at college. But you never ceased to amaze me. You were so strong, and at a young age, you were able to put the challenge of this assignment in perspective for us. Got him. I got him. Your strength has made me a better dad. And I wanted to know how thankful I am for this assignment, just because we grew very close together while you were out here. We saw some amazing things together. We laughed our butts off doing some crazy things. And your sense of humor, your calm demeanor, and common sense approach is absolutely inspiring. That's enough. All right, Nicole, I love you so much. 23 years ago, on this very day, 1992, we actually started dating. I know you didn't know that. It's purely happenstance. It's symbolic, just the same. Thank you for always being there for me. You've been incredibly strong throughout my career. You've been my sounding board, my advisor, my cheerleader. My career has put family on hold. I put the family through the ringer on more than one occasion. You stood by me, encouraged me to push through each challenge. You have been an amazing mother and oftentimes a father to our boys when I was not physically, emotionally, or mentally there. I really appreciate you taking a chance and seeing this through with me. Thank God for Prince. That's not my speech. I did that on purpose because this is too much. We start our life together, and I'm so excited to start a new chapter of our life side by side with you boys. I couldn't have asked for a better, more loyal, and loving friend to have on my side. We made it to this day together, just like we promised so long ago. hanging up my uniform today because I've given you all that I have to give. And I've done so proudly, and I'm honored to be a part of something as big as this Air Force is. Something bigger than you and me. I truly and honestly believe in our mission, and I will miss being a part of it, being a part of this family. I'm almost done. I gave you my very best. And I hope my positive intentions and impressions I leave behind will endure and guide you towards success. Whatever that means to you. Before I sign off, I ask every one of you in this room to do me one last favor and always remember why you're here. Do so by looking at the person next to you. Never forget that that person is the reason why you do what you do. Today it could be Aaron Maxwell. Tomorrow it could be Sergeant Pilant. Next week it could be your spouse, your grandmother, your father, your grandfather, your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter. Lead from the heart. I'll miss every single one of you. I will miss my family. Thank you all so much for coming out. I hope to see you all on the other side. Who won the bet?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please stand. Well, you're already standing. We're going to sing the Air Force song, and there's going to be the departure of the official party. Then join us for light refreshments and cake to congratulate Senior Master Sergeant Etler and his family on his outstanding career. Thank you for attending, and we wish you a pleasant day. You're dismissed.